In a quiet village by the ocean, a fisherman named Sovan lived a simple life. He rose before the sun, mended his nets, and rowed out to sea. His days were predictable, his routine unchanged for years, but one morning everything was different. News traveled fast. A massive school of fish was spotted near the coast. Every fisherman in the village scrambled for their boats, eager for the catch of a lifetime. Sovan, in his small wooden vessel, joined the rush, unaware that this day would become the most perilous of his life. Not long after he left the shore, the weather turned. The wind shifted with a sudden chill, and the clear sky darkened as clouds piled up like gray mountains. The sea, once calm, began to churn with angry waves. But Sovan, convinced the big fish were just ahead, ignored the signs. He didn't want to miss this rare opportunity, so he pushed farther out into the open water, away from the safety of the coast. Then the storm hit. It was sudden and ferocious. Giant waves, like liquid walls, crashed against his small boat, tossing it back and forth as if it were a child's toy. The wind howled with a deafening roar, so loud that Sovan couldn't hear his own ragged breath. His boat creaked and groaned under the strain. Ropes snapped, and half of his precious fishing gear was violently ripped from the deck and swallowed by the churning sea. Even as chaos reigned around him, Sovan refused to turn back. He gripped the wooden frame of his boat, his knuckles white, praying the storm would pass. But his hope was shattered in an instant. A colossal wave, a true monster of the sea, rose high above him. It hung there for a second, a dark wall of water, before it crashed down directly onto his boat with unimaginable force. The impact was devastating. The wooden boat splintered into countless pieces, disappearing into the violent water. Sovan was thrown into the freezing, chaotic ocean. Darkness engulfed him as the powerful waves dragged him under, pulling him deeper into the abyss. In that terrifying moment, surrounded by the sea's fury, he was certain his life was over. He was going to drown. But as he thrashed blindly in the dark water, his hand brushed against something solid. It was a piece of his boat, a single broken plank of wood. With the very last of his strength, he grabbed onto it. He fought his way back to the surface, gasping for air, clinging to that small piece of wreckage. The storm raged on. Waves continued to slam against him, the biting cold seeped into his bones, and the wind howled around him. But Sovan wrapped his arms tightly around the plank, refusing to let the ocean claim him. Hours crawled by. The sun set, and the darkness of night fell upon the sea. The thunder slowly faded, and the violent waves softened into a weary rhythm. Sovan was now adrift, alone in the vast black ocean, far from his village. He was exhausted, dehydrated, and barely conscious. But one thought kept him going: his family. The image of their faces became the anchor for his will to live, the only thing keeping him from letting go. At sunrise the next morning, a large fishing ship was passing through the area. A crew member on deck heard a faint, rhythmic knocking sound against the hull. Curious, he leaned over the side to look. He was stunned by what he saw. A man, pale and weak, was drifting on a single piece of wood, barely afloat. It was Sovan. He was alive. The crew pulled him aboard immediately, wrapping him in warm blankets and giving him sips of water. When the ship docked at his village later that day, the entire community ran to the shore. They had all thought he was lost forever, another soul taken by the sea. But there he was. Sovan had survived the ocean's fury, not with strength alone, but with unyielding courage, patience, and a glimmer of hope. His story became a legend in the village, a powerful reminder that even in the face of the greatest storm, a determined heart can refuse to be broken. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.